Namaste, Jai Bharat. We have been seeing that US was very enthusiastic about tariff game, especially on Bharat. And they have a pretext saying that Russia is fighting with Ukraine and don't buy oil or anything from Russia. And if you buy things from Russia, the same money they will use to kill women, children, and innocent people in Ukraine. So don't buy. So if you buy, we'll have this much tariff on you. As it is now about some 50% of tariff towards Bharat. But if you look closely, is it really the case that only Bharat is buying crude oil from Russia? Certainly not. The sanctioner, the tariff maker America, they themselves buy a lot of things from Russia. And once when it was asked to President Trump, he says, I'm not aware of it. Well, that's a good lie, undoubtedly. Now, is it really because of Bharat buying crude oil from Russia that they want to put tariff on Bharat? If you think, we will know that really is not the case. It's only a pretext. It's only in the name of Russia. We are buying from Russia. They are trying to put tariff on Bharat. The actual reason is fear of Bharat as an emerging authority. Now we don't like to use the word power, superpower, middle power, some all kinds of things. These are the European categories of concepts that somebody is superpower, somebody dictates terms and conditions, and others have to follow these kind of things. Post the Second European War, America emerged as a very powerful nation. They are even today the first power. But those days there was a balance from the former Soviet Union, which was destroyed by America's continuous efforts. They put their heart and soul in destroying Soviet Union, but actually former Soviet Union was really not a kind of necessary unity. It was a synthetic unity. It was a synthetic unity because the force of communism brought them together. The communism force is a force without life, lifeless kind of thing. So that's very mechanical kind of things which can cease to be at any point in time. So that was a strength of the Soviet kind of unity, which was not spontaneous. It was synthetic. So they could easily destroy it, dismantle Soviet Union, and then suddenly the world becomes a unipolar world, led, controlled, dictated, dominated, and prescribed by America. Russia took time to become something in time, and it really became something in time with their facilities, infrastructure, and resources of nature. China, of course, also emerged. China has emerged because of the European oversight. They depended on China. They wanted things to be made cheap. They put all the things in China, and then China's economy boosted, formed, became powerful, and then they forgot that China is still a communist country, not democratic. Communism practically is dictatorship. Though theoretically communism is called dictatorship of proletariats, but it is nonetheless dictatorship, and when it comes to practical level, it becomes dictatorship of some authority, whosoever is the party, boss, leader, etc. So that's what is happening in China, and then they have their own given set agendas, ambitions, border ambitions, etc., etc., etc. And China, they could not contain. This is the situation. Suddenly they find, especially America and Europe obviously, find Bharat is an emerging power. Silently, not through arms, not through military might, not through anything, but through pure innovation. America and Europe, they wanted the whole world to develop in European model, European pattern, taking European technology and everything originated from Europe to copy that or to borrow that and go further into an authority of a developed nation. But Bharat, they were led to understand that last 10 years, with the new government came into Bharat, first time in the history, after 1000 years of 800 years Muslim domination, 200 years of colonial European domination. First time in 1000 years, after independence, all these years, 70 plus years, a nationalist government comes first time in Bharat. And as normal, as usual, the Europe had never understood what Bharat is. They do not have such concepts and such categories to understand what Bharat really is. It's not that simply people call Bharat as Vishwa Guru. It's not a simple expression. It has its own logic, reason, history, philosophy, and everything. So Bharat, when got a national government, the whole nation stands by such a national government, because love for motherland is in the blood of each Bharatiya. And our great religion, the Hindu Dharma, and similarly other dharmas of Bharat, which are not religion, were overlooked, were declared as primitive, whereas those who speak such things are real primitive. This was undermined, belittled. It is a long history. It is a long history of alienating people of Bharat from their own real necessary essence. This thing slowly was experiencing a paradigm shift from what is spuriously imposed on us to what we really are. And this made such change within this 10 years practically, such change that each one of us started searching for our real existential essence. And we stopped copying. Initially also we were not really copying, things were getting imposed on us. Whatever theories, whatever sciences Europe used to supply us, we have innovated. In the sense, we've made our own, which has no parallel in the European knowledge tradition. So we made our own path to go forward. We created our own methods of operations. We made our own everything based on our dharma, which is right to us. And that made us strong. We made everything our own. We have copied much less. We have borrowed much less. We knew how to innovate, and we also knew how to create. So you look at the achievement of this nation. And that they thought is a threat because, again, they can't understand Bharat. They don't because they can't. They simply think that Bharat would behave like they would have behaved in similar situations of imposing on others, of dominating on others, of dictating on others. But we are different. We don't care. We don't want to dominate anyone. We don't want to impose on anyone. We don't even want to prescribe things to others. We actually believe in originality, spontaneity of what you are as what you are, and what we are as what we are. We don't want anything from anyone. We do not want the resources of others. We may take help when we need something, that's different. But we are not going to steal from others as the Americans initially had stolen from the Red Indians. You should be ashamed of that, of your history. And from the Australians, and from wherever they have gone, and of course from us. The nations, those who colonized us, became rich overnight, impoverishing us. Our tens and tens and tens of thousands of civilization, knowledge, tradition, which you fail to understand because it's somehow beyond your horizon to understand these things. So they thought that we would act like them under similar circumstances. So Trump takes the lead, America takes the lead to make Bharat crumble, to coerce on Bharat, to oppress us, to reduce us. He had declared that Bharat is a dead economy because he was so confident that he will be able to destroy our economy by imposing series of tariffs. And recently Mexico also is moving their posterior by 50% of tariff against Bharat. All right, but we withstood, we overcome, we still stand, and amazingly for them, our GDP growth has gone to 8.2%. I don't want to compare what's the GDP of US. That's not our way. That's not how we look at things. We are not into imposing others. The Europe still believes they used to have a barbaric way of life in the past. Warring tribes, looting tribes, pirates, conflict, contradictions, killing one another. We have not lived like that. And from there, just because economic development and scientific advancement, you have come economically better off. But I don't want to speak about the living quality of human existence. That's for anybody to compare and understand. So don't expect us to be like you. So they started fearing Bharat. They thought we would not listen. Even in the past, we were not listening to you. Even during colonial time, we did not listen to you. We lived our own life in our own manner, no matter how latent we used to be, but we remained powerful. Otherwise, we would not have just become progressed in this manner with this short period in time. Because we had our potentiality within us were always kept alive. They were latent but powerful. Even in the colonial time, you thought you have subjugated us, and to mentally subjugate Bharat, you have even created hegemony like Aryan theory, or so many such theories and stories were created. But we remained what we are. That's because we are what we are. So to crumble Bharat, off late, this tariff game began, not because that we are buying from oil from Russia. We are buying oil from Russia, that's one thing. But the entire Europe is buying gas from Russia. America is buying many things from Russia. And that is not counted. They will only talk about Bharat buying crude oil from Russia. Do you think we'll stop it? We won't. That's not how you should treat us, and that's not how you expect us to behave. And if you expect us to behave in a subjugated, subaltern manner, you're wrong. Because even in the worst period in our life, we were not subaltern to anyone. We continued as we are. We have our tradition, our history, our knowledge tradition, and everything of our own. So this is a fake story. Crude oil from Russia, that's a fake story, which they narrated to just eyewash the people. And I think those who think should understand, and they shall understand. The problem is, you can't understand Bharat. To understand Bharat, You have to go to, let me say, the transcendental level of thought, which you are incapable of doing. You never had such experiential existence. You always had a speculative existence. We shall meet again. Namaste. Jai Bharat. Jai Siya Ram.